Justice Warriors, what's going on? How are you? If you are here and want to say hi, please do. I think I'm just going to go ahead and hit the start button and then talk maybe during the routine and after. So let's just get this going. I hope you guys are having a great weekend. I'm always trying to get stuff done, even if it's not YouTube or yoga. Today I was clearing out clutter. It's a never-ending process at our house, but as long as I'm working at it, I feel hopeful about it. When I'm not working at it, it's hard to feel hopeful. Okay, so here we go. Here's some yoga for you, some yin yoga. Thank you for being here. Whoever you are, if you want to say hi, please do. If you don't, that's cool too. I am gonna hit play and get started here. Hello, and thank you for coming to this yin restorative yoga class. That's as loud as it gets. We are going to start today in the corpse pose, setting our intention for the practice. Focus on what you want to bring into your life and what you're needing to let go of to allow that change and shift. Hold the corpse pose for a minute while you're setting your intentions. And then we're going to prepare to do 5 deep belly breaths. Hands on your tummy like you're filling a balloon with air or you're 9 months pregnant. Hello, whoever it was that made a comment. And exhaling through your mouth 5 times. When you breathe in through your nose, blow up that belly like it's a balloon. And deflate it, breathing out the mouth. I will keep glancing to see if there's chat. Pose for about another minute. And I have my glasses close by. But if you're watching on the replay or live, thank you for watching, and I hope that the exercises are something that inspire you to take great care of yourself. Whether these exercises are for you or not, I highly recommend trying them if you want and modifying them however you need to, or taking breaks wherever you need to. And at the end of this minute, we're going to rotate our neck slowly to the right side. And then slowly back to neutral. And slowly turning the head and the neck to the left side. And back to neutral. Now we're going to do 3 B breaths. We're going to place our 3 fingers over our eyes, our index finger, our middle finger, and our ring finger. Thumbs on the ear cartilage, it's called the tragus, pressing down on that flap of skin, closing off the airway to your ears. We're going to hum a low pitch 3 times. For B breaths, you breathe in through your nose and out through your nose. So we'll do 3 B breaths. we're done with that, we're going to hug our right knee for a half a minute, paying attention to the micro movements.
If I inspire just one person to do yoga or take better care of themselves, I've accomplished my goal.
Now reach for your strap, getting the ball of your right foot into the strap. You can straighten your leg out. You have an option here to engage that foot, flexing your heel, rotating the ankle, pointing the toe. We're going to pull that leg a little closer to your chest for about another half minute. And then we're going to hold that right leg out to the right side with or without the strap for the half straddle for another 30 seconds. Now you can get that right leg back down to the mat, switching your legs to then hug your left knee, hugging your left knee tight for about a half minute. Again, paying attention to the micro movements.
Have you guys seen Criminal Minds' new Gabby Petito video? It's awesome.
Then you can use the strap on the ball of the left foot, straightening that leg. Again, you have an option here of engaging the foot, flexing the heel, rotating your ankle, pointing your toes.
Their channel's
hold
called
this for another half minute.
It's called Behind Criminal Minds, and I'll put a link to their new Gabby Petito video in the description. It's almost a 2-hour video, but it's excellent. That channel does such an amazing job. One of my favorite
then
channels.
We're going to hold that left leg out to the side with or without the strap.
But I do have a lot of favorites.
Hand, or you can keep your foot in the strap for the half straddle for another 30 seconds.
And it's always changing too. I've been really into that Bailey Sarian makeup murder mystery. Oh man, she is so funny. She's so talented.
Now we can lower that left leg back down to the mat. Both legs out straight, stretching out long, arms straight up overhead. And then hug your right knee. With a bolster, you're going to place that right knee onto your left side for the supine twist. Arms to We'll stay in the supine twist for a full minute with our gaze over our right fingertips. You have the option at any point in time to use your left hand to apply light pressure to your right knee if you wish. After that minute, slowly turn your head to look to the left, the opposite fingertips, for 2 full breaths. slowly turn your head and neck back to neutral. And you can lower that right leg back to the floor. Hugging in both of your knees together, head and neck towards the knees, rocking and rolling. And then lowering your right leg to the floor and continuing to hug your left knee. We'll bring the left knee across your body to the right side for the spine twist to the right. Again, with the bolster, place your left knee on the right side of your body and then keep your arms in a T. We'll hold this for about a minute, keeping the gaze over the left fingertips. And again, using your right hand at any point, you have the option to apply pressure to the left knee.
Such a great stretch.
At the end of that minute, we're going to slowly turn the head to the opposite direction, holding for 2 breaths, then back to neutral after the 2 deep breaths. Now back to neutral, and then lower that left leg back down to the floor, coming out of the twist. Then we'll hug both knees again, stretching the neck, rotating the ankles, and engaging the feet, flexing the heels. And now we're going to get into butterfly position with the bolster under our knees.
I think I'm gonna turn around for the
Stretch our
butterfly,
arms out to the sides.
just to be a little more polite with my yoga. You know what I mean?
And then overhead, rainbowing our arms up into the steeple grip, and we'll hold that steeple grip reclined in the reclined butterfly for a half minute. Then slowly flap your butterfly wings down, arms at the sides, hands or palms are facing up, and slowly moving your arms back up overhead, touching the fingertips to each other. With your arms overhead outstretched, fingers and thumbs touching on opposite hands, stay in the butterfly pose for another half minute. Then reach for your strap. With the strap on the balls of both feet, we will do legs up the wall for a full minute. Knees can be straight or bent slightly. You can rock, you can roll, you can wiggle. You can play around with bending your knees slightly, straightening your knees, even bending one and then the other. Keeping your legs perpendicular to the floor. make that a little less than a 90-degree angle with your legs coming closer to your torso, or a little more than a 90-degree angle, letting your legs go a little further away from your torso. When we're done, place the strap next to you, hugging the knees tightly to the chest, binding the fingers, rocking and rolling, massaging that low back onto your mat. Then set both feet flat on the floor, knees bent. Maybe a block or a bolster between your knees. And maybe a block or bolster under your knees too when you fall both of your knees to the right side. We will hold this pose for a full minute. Arms are in a T, focusing our gaze out over our left fingertips. Keeping the drishti over your left hand. You can close your eyes or you can keep them open. Feel that stretch across your side, across your torso. Now slowly roll the head to look to the other side, to the right. And then slowly back to neutral. Then we'll bring our knees back to neutral and let both knees fall to the left, gazing out over our right fingertips. Again, you can keep your eyes open, you can close your eyes, just really feel that stretch on the twist across your rib cage.
You feel it in your hip too. It's a good hip opener.
Now we will slowly turn the head to gaze to the left side. And slowly back to neutral. Knees back to neutral, feet flat on the mat. And then laying your legs down flat and taking a break, relaxing in corpse pose for about a half minute. When we're ready, slowly turn to the left or the right, flipping yourself over to lay onto your front side. Very carefully, very gently. And then you can rest your forehead on your hands laying on top of each other for a full minute.
Sorry if I'm not all in the frame. I'll try to keep the parts that you need to see if you're wanting any instruction. Try to keep those in clear view.
After this minute, we will come up under our elbows and forearms into the Sphinx. Then hiking up your right knee to your right side with your right arm out in front of you, straight out in front of you, pushing yourself up. You will thread the needle with your left arm into that space between the floor and your right armpit. Make any adjustments for the pose you need. Then get your right hand onto your right hip. You can straighten that right arm. Try to lay it flat on the ground with both shoulders flat. Or you can keep that right hand on the right hip. We'll hold this pose for a full minute. At any point, you can use your left hand to apply that slight pressure to your right knee. Keep your gaze over your left fingertips. You can have your arms in a T, or you can have that right hand on your right hip. Feel the difference from the last supine twist, having gotten into this pose from an entirely different sequence of directives. At the same time, notice the similarities along with those differences. And when you undo your twist, rest your head on your hands, again laying them on top of one another for 30 seconds. Then with bent knees, windshield wiper the feet and calves. Then come back up onto your forearms and elbows and hands into that Sphinx pose again. This time hiking your left knee up to the left side of yourself. And with your left arm out in front of you, you will thread your right arm through the needle. Then getting your left hand onto your left hip. Same as the other side, you can adjust yourself so that both shoulders and arms are flat on the ground in a T, or simply keep your left hand on your left hip. Option, again, at any point to apply light pressure with the right hand if you wish on the left knee. Your drishti out over your left fingertips. holding this pose for a full minute. And when you are done coming out of that pose, untwisting yourself, again, rest your head on your hands. In an exaggerated motion, really windshield wiper those knees, loosening the hips out. Lower the feet to the ground, and then we'll send our hips back towards our feet into a wide knee child's pose, using a bolster or pillow to rest the torso on. Holding this position for a full minute, really relaxing the torso. Ragdoll that upper portion of your body, allowing gravity to do the work for you. Feeling the pillows support your body. Once we're done, we'll remove the props. Then come to lie on the belly through a tabletop movement, and then back into Sphinx. On your forearms again, and elbows, this time spreading your hands and your fingers out as wide as you can. Then turning your right forearm parallel with the top of the mat. Reach back with your left hand for your left foot and hold that half bow for a half minute.
Half bow for half minute. If you can't reach your foot, don't sweat it. Don't do anything that's gonna over stress your body. Just do what you can. Just reach. It's amazing how quickly your flexibility will improve if you're just starting out. The most important thing, whether you're
Then
just starting out or
let go
not,
to rest your head on your hands again.
is to not
One
overdo
hand
it.
on top of the other. Then windshield wipering the feet, really moving your hips. Same thing on the other side. Into the Sphinx, spreading your hands and fingers out as wide as you can. Then turning that left forearm to be parallel with the top of your mat, and reaching with your right hand back to your right foot. We'll hold that half bow to the other side for 30 seconds.
I kind of had overdone it, so I took yesterday off from yoga. I had a bit of a Charlie horse when I woke up in the morning, so I was really careful all day. And it never seized up, but I knew that it could. Then I took a hot bath with Epsom salt. That's always helpful.
Then letting go. Both knees are on the mat, and again, send your hips back, sitting on your feet into child's pose. We'll rest our head on a block for about 30 seconds while in child's pose. Feel where the stress and the tension needs to let go. relaxing your torso. And then walk your fingers towards the right side of the mat, reaching towards the right corner of the mat for 30 seconds. Feel that stretch across your rib cage. Then walk your fingers back to neutral. And then walking your fingers towards the left edge of the mat, reaching towards that left corner and holding that for a half minute. Again, feel the stretch across your rib cage. And now walk your fingers back to neutral. Come up into the hero's pose and then swing your legs out in front of you for staff pose.
This is heroes.
Place
And
a
this
bolster and
is
maybe
staff.
stack some pillows on top of your legs to ragdoll your torso over your legs. Alternatively, you can use a strap on the balls of your feet for the same type of effect. We'll hold this for about another minute. Pushing your hips towards your feet, towards your toes. Again, allowing gravity to do the work for you, and really allowing your props to completely support the weight of your torso. Now, when we're done with that, we will remove the bolster, pillows, keeping the left leg stretched out long and bringing the right foot to the inside of the left thigh. Reaching for those left toes. Hold for a minute. Hold for about a half a minute. Maybe you have the left toes in your left hand and you're reaching your right hand over those toes. Then we'll come into a wide straddle stretch, leaning forward for a moment before switching it out to the other side. Left foot to the inner right thigh. Reach for those right toes with the right hand. Right hand possibly holding the toes. If you can't reach your toes, you could use a strap for that. Could just hold your calf, your shin, your leg, wherever is comfortable. And reaching that left hand out over those right toes. We'll hold this for a few more moments. And then we'll stretch both legs out into a wide straddle. Leaning forward, reaching for your block in front of you. We'll hold for 20 seconds. You could also rest your forehead on the block, standing them tall, stacking them on top of each other. And then we'll come into the seated butterfly, holding both of our feet, soles together, bending the neck and the heads towards the feet, and then bringing your head up to neutral. Let's twist our head from side to side, to the right, and then neutral, then left, back to neutral. Stretching the neck, looking down, rolling from side to side. Full circle, rolling the neck in one direction and then in the other direction. And then back to neutral before dropping your right ear to your right shoulder. You could use a slight pressure with your right fingertips on top of your head. Then back to neutral, and then dropping your left ear to your left shoulder with that slight pressure with your left fingertips if you wish. And then back to neutral. Again, slowly turn your head from side to side, to the right, then neutral, to the left, and back to neutral again. Now we bring ourselves into a wide straddle, leaning forward, maybe using those blocks to reach out and hold, or you can again stack the blocks to rest your forehead on. Continue to hold for about a full minute. Again, paying attention to the micro movements, noticing where the tension and the stress get snagged, and try to release any stress, any tension as you scan through your body. Then reaching over the left foot, maybe placing the blocks on each side of the foot, placing each hand on one of the blocks and holding that pose for about a half minute. Then picking up the blocks and placing them on either side of your right foot, reaching over the right foot, resting your hands on each of the blocks. After holding that pose for about a half a minute, then come back to neutral. Our next pose will be bending our right knee over our left leg, which is out straight, twisting to the right and gazing to the back of the room. Using the left elbow to leverage on the right knee, Slowly turn your gaze to the front of the room, but let's wait a minute for that. Keeping that gaze on the back wall. And then slowly turning your gaze to the front of the room. Slowly returning your gaze back to the back wall, all while leveraging that left elbow on the right knee. Then we'll simply switch sides. Bend the left knee over the right leg. Right leg is out straight. Gaze to the left towards the back of the room. After that half minute, we'll slowly turn the gaze to the front of the room. And now slowly returning your drishti to the back of the room once again. Continue leveraging that right elbow on that left knee. And then back to butterfly. We'll hold that butterfly for 30 seconds. And now into Lord of the Fish, bending the right knee over the left knee that is also bent while twisting to the right. Right arm is back, left elbow leverages against the right knee, looking to the back of the room, and we will hold this for a half a minute. Turn your head slowly to the opposite side, and then back again. Now straighten both legs out in front of you for the staff pose. Reaching your arms out to your sides and then up to the sky in a rainbow motion. That steeple grip with your fingers overhead. Your hands reaching up tall. This is steeple grip. And then we'll switch legs for the other side. Left knee over right bent knee. Bending your left knee over your right bent knee. And twisting to the left. Right arm is leveraging against that left knee. Looking to the back of the room, and then slowly, after a half of a minute, we'll turn our gaze. But we'll hold this for a few more breaths. Now turning our gaze to the opposite side of the room. Slowly returning the gaze to the back of the room once again. And then head back to neutral and staff pose, legs out in front, and we're going to do our eagle arms. For our eagle arms stretch, we have our arms out to the side in cactus or goalposts, and then our right elbow over our left elbow, hands together, pushing elbows slightly up and bending the neck down. After about a half a minute, we'll spread our arms back out wide, back to cactus, and again eagle arms with the left elbow over the right elbow this time. Pushing the elbows up slightly and bending the neck down and holding that for about another half minute. And then we'll stretch our arms out wide to the sides, bringing them overhead in that rainbow motion to the steeple grip once again, sitting tall, maybe a slight arch in the back. Hold that for a couple more breaths. Before bending forward and holding that for about 10 more seconds. Then we'll lie down on our backs with our feet flat on the mat, getting the left foot into a strap on the ball of the foot. Place your right foot over your left thigh for reclined pigeon, holding that position for an entire minute. Bending that left knee is an option, or keeping it straight, or playing between straight and bent. Paying attention to those micro movements, paying attention to anywhere you're holding stress in your body, and releasing that grip, releasing the stress from anywhere you find it as you scan. Scan your being. Then we'll switch out our feet, getting your right foot into that strap and your left foot across your right thigh for reclined pigeon on the other side, and holding that for about a minute. Again, you have that option to bend the knee or straighten it, or both, back and forth between the two. position. When you're done, place your feet back to the mat, hugging your knees to your chest for about 20 seconds. Then both feet back to the mat again. Your right knee over your left knee, and your legs falling to the right. We'll hold this for a minute with arms in a T, gazing out over your opposite hand, over the left fingertips.
This is absolutely one of my favorites. This whole routine is my favorites, but this is probably the top one or two. I think that Lord of the Fish is, well, and then the supine twist, and yeah, they're all good. So top three, supine, this one. Well, eagle arms, that's another top favorite.
Slowly turning your head and neck to the right, the opposite direction, before slowly coming back to neutral. Both feet on the mat, knees to chest, hugging those knees, rocking and rolling. Both feet flat onto the mat again for the other side. Left knee over the right knee, falling the legs to the left side and holding for a full minute with our gaze over our right fingertips.
It's kind of like eagle legs, I just realized. That's cool.
Keep that gaze over your right fingertips, or you can have your eyes closed, just feeling that stretch. And then slowly rotating the head to the left, to the other side. Slowly head back to neutral. Hug your knees one more time, rocking and rolling. And we will get into a happy baby. For that, I'm definitely turning around just out of consideration for you guys. We can make a variety of happy baby.
I'm getting a drink of water.
postures with legs bent, with legs straight. The proper happy baby, you have your hands on the outside of each foot, your arms are on the inside of each thigh.
Proper happy baby. It's funny.
We can straighten the legs, bend the knees, straighten one side and then the other, rock the baby, move it around, mix it up. Do this for about a minute total in that happy baby pose. And then reaching for the block and putting it under the small of your back for a supported bridge. On its lowest level, we will hold the supported bridge for about a minute. while we still have that block under the small of our back. We will do the legs up the wall again with or without a strap and holding that legs up the wall for about another minute. Then if it's in your practice, there's an option here for the shoulder stand for a minute. If you're in the shoulder stand or getting yourself into the shoulder stand, try to make your body as perpendicular to the ground as you can. And then we will lower our feet down to the floor to get into the plow, and we'll hold that for about a half minute. You can reach your arms up overhead, touching the toes in the plow, keeping the legs straight, and also you can do the plow with your knees bent. And when you're done with your shoulder stand and plow, slowly, while tucking your chin, carefully roll yourself back down to the floor, one vertebrae at a time. And now into the corpse pose for 3 full minutes. I usually prefer to have a bolster under my knees for corpse pose. Arms to your sides or on your tummy. Palms up or palms down if your arms are by your sides. If your hands are on your tummy, you probably want to have the palms down, of course. Just remembering the intention that you set for yourself at the beginning of this practice. What it is you're trying to bring more of into your life and what it is you're trying to let go of in order to make space for that to happen. when you're finished with your corpse pose, you can either roll to one side or the other and then pushing yourself up slowly, or you have the option to rock slightly with your chin tucked, coming up onto your elbows, and then into staff pose. Again, stretching your arms out wide to the sides and rainbowing them up overhead into steeple grip for 2 deep breaths, arching the back ever so slightly while looking towards the ceiling. Then lean forward, reaching for the toes. Sitting back upright and getting into easy pose with the hands on the knees, touching our pointer fingers to our thumbs on either hand. We will chant Om 3 times in a low pitch. Stretching the arms out wide to the sides, bring your arms up overhead to prayer hands. And then to acknowledge your insight and your wisdom, touch your thumbs or your knuckles to your third eye on the way down to hands over heart. And then we will bow to close this practice. And so it is. I thank you for practicing with me today. And I hope you have a blessed day.
So, I don't know if there's anyone in house. Where's my glasses so I can get a better look and see. Where did I place them? I know I set them down very carefully somewhere, and now I don't know where that is. My glasses. Come out, wherever you are. There they are. I really hid them. Oh, who's here? Sherry, hi. I didn't see your comment. I just saw your name. Took me a minute to focus. Hello, my dear. How are you? I don't know if this practice is something that you're doing. I have gotten feedback from a couple of my viewers that they are joining in for some of the stretches. And I am not kidding you. Just one person, one stretch. That's my goal. Like, I've met a couple of people, like sales people at stores, and I've told them about my YouTube Yoga True Crime, and they've gotten so excited, like they're writing it down. I'm good, I can do some but not all. Yeah, just do what you can. That's awesome. It's so important to take care of ourselves. So one of these 2 sales folks the last couple of days, you know, just like cashiers, one of them was a teenage boy, and he was like, true crime and yoga, those are my 2 favorite things. I'm going to check you out. That's exactly what I want. I thought that was so cute. Because I know it's not for everybody, and I do really apologize to the people that are missing my old stuff, and I do want to renew my old stuff and get back into that, but I'm just having to really take the yoga so seriously in this final stretch to get that yoga certification. And then once I have it, I can stop doing yoga. No, I'm just kidding, of course. Once I have the certification, I'm in 2 programs right now. So I'm in a yoga certification program and I'm in a mastery program. That's not for teaching. The certification is for teaching. The mastery is just for your own practice. But honestly, I mean, I only ever wanted to teach simply to enhance my own practice. I never really like wanted to be a yoga instructor. I just wanted to get more better at my own yoga, and I figured that would be one way to do it. So, but now that I've done it, I'm almost done. It's been 8 months, and so this is the final stretch. I think I'm excited to teach yoga. I feel like I've been teaching it on the YouTube. I teach it to family members and friends when I can get a student. Some of the other students in my class will teach each other the routines that we have. We practice them in our class, of course, but sometimes we meet up outside of class. And it's just super cool. So doing it with the YouTube is something that I thought would be beneficial for many reasons. And it took me a really long time to get it going. I mean, you guys probably heard me talking about it months ago, saying that I wasn't going to do it and then saying that I was going to do it. And then I feel like I only finally started doing the YouTube yoga maybe a month ago. I don't know. But I do know that I miss just sitting down and talking true crime with my true crime people. And I know that my viewership is a lot lower. And honestly, I mean, I care because I like connecting with people, but I don't care as far as, I need to do this for myself. It's not for the views. It's not for the clicks. It's not for the likes. But if you're here, hey, where's my thumb? My thumb. Hit that like button if you don't mind. I already have 4 likes with only 2 viewers. That's awesome. What are the odds? Twice as many likes as viewers. Usually it's like it's hard to get half the number of likes of your views. And that's when you're live. When it's, just on replay, you're lucky to have 10%. Like, if you have 1,000 views, you're lucky to have 100 likes. Because people are just lazy about hitting that like button. It's too much effort, right? I get it. I do. So what else? Do you guys want to talk a little true crime? Because I do. I have been continuing to stay abreast of all of the Micah Miller information that I can. And more is coming out. And Sherry says, yes. Awesome, Sherry. Thank you so much for being here. Oh, and I sent you your things recently. If you haven't gotten them yet, today's Sunday, tomorrow's a holiday. You should get them this week. I'm trying to remember which one was for you. Were you the butterfly earrings or were you the, the tiny bottle and some other earrings went to, in Florida. I'm so bad with my daughter shared with me a really cute meme today that was I like to keep myself sharp by remembering what I ate yesterday and what I was just doing. I'm looking forward to the butterfly earrings. Awesome. Yeah, and then I pulled up that photograph of Kylie wearing those very similar butterfly earrings. They're not the same, but that gold wire, and she's got the big plastic tube hangers hanging from the butterfly earrings. And I had seen that photograph many times before I noticed the butterfly earrings. Like the hangers are just so hilarious and large. They really, catch your focus. And so it took me a while to realize like, oh, hey, she's wearing butterfly earrings. So I don't know if that's where the butterfly bench idea came from. And Ninja has her super cool butterfly artwork at the end of the videos that she does. I don't know. I mean, butterflies are cool, transformative, kind of symbolic of transitioning from life to the afterlife. but I think that something about Kylie is very butterfly-like. Um, anyway, Micah Miller and Kylie, I think, have a lot of similarities, and I think that they were both basically lured to their demise. They were both found in the water. They were both staged 100%. I believe Kylie was 100% staged. I believe that they both have had major cooperation from law enforcement because you couldn't do that without. I was saying yesterday, and I really do hope I didn't offend anybody who holds South Carolina near and dear to their heart, that South Carolina is really like the good old boys club. You know, the corruption runs deep, and the church, the Bible Belt, that whole thing. But it's really like the big daddy kind of South culture. A friend of mine that knows more about it, because I've only been through South Carolina. I've never really visited. Haven't been following Micah much. Been Daybell trial in Idaho 4. And see, I have not followed the Daybell. I mean, it's so freaking disgusting. It just makes me want to vomit. And the Idaho 4, I can't, because I think it's such hogwash. I think it's almost entirely hogwash, if not entirely hogwash at this point. Um, I mean, quite frankly, it's just bogus crap. Like, that case is not, it's not real to me. And, you know, I am one of these people that have wondered if there if that was staged. Like, why did we never see the remains of those people coming out? I mean, not that we would see their remains, but we would see like the body bags or something. I mean, there were cameras there 24/7. So that's perplexing. That's very perplexing. I do believe that there's tunnels under that house, and I do believe that that's why they demolished the house, was to destroy evidence. But you know, they could have removed the people's remains through the tunnels, or, not to sound like a crazy conspiracy theorist, but maybe the people weren't unalived in there. I mean, you just don't know when you've got all of the deception and all the things that don't add up, and the two witnesses that weren't witnesses, and you know, the cops right out in front. Not only were the cops out in front of 1122 King Road, the cops were also out in front of Brian Koberger's place, because there was a hit and run, right? So Crime Circus has been readdressing that lately, and you guys know I love Crime Circus. Love me some Crime Circus. So yeah, during my routine, I was talking about the Behind Criminal Minds latest drop. I think it's a day old, maybe 2 days old. Kind of a Gabby Petito overview and update. And one thing that I don't know if Behind Criminal Minds knows this. I knew it and then I forgot. I know that Paula Plunder knows, because, you know, she's always on top of those things. I know that a few people know, but not that many people know that Pratt, Sergeant Pratt, um, is it Christopher Pratt? The guy who was in charge of like training the other guy at the Gabby Petito domestic violence stop, he had been a police chief. Love Drip Drop too. Yeah, he's amazing. So Pratt had been a police chief in a town, I believe, called Salida. So not Salida, Colorado, where Suzanne Morphew was from, but Salida, Utah, I think. Um, he was the police chief, I think, for 5 years, and there was domestic violence, and I think it was a fiance, his ex-fiance, claims that he had threatened to unalive her, maybe even when he was in uniform. I'm not sure about that, but I think there was something to do with that, like while he was on duty or something. Anyway, he was a police chief, and then he resigned, and then that was the girlfriend that he was talking to Brian Laundrie about. Like, is that so crazy? He was like, "Oh yeah, I used to have a crazy girlfriend too. I know all about that." And um, I mean, it's pretty gross how those guys, all of the law enforcement that were dealing with the Gabby Petito case, were men, other than Melissa Hall, the one park ranger. It's pretty gross how easily tricked they were by Brian Laundrie. I mean, the report came in specifically saying that the witness saw Gabby get hit 2 times by the guy, that the woman got hit twice by the guy. And then they had some other witness that they were talking about throughout the pullover and the interviews that didn't see anybody get hit, I don't think. But the witness who called, the male who's on the 911 call, and remember, there was a second 911 call that we don't know. There was a second caller. I don't know. Do you think he is really dead? I do not. Sherry, how about you? I never have thought so. That whole thing with the dry bag and the Laundries calling the lawyer to say we're going to go look, and you know, they had searched, law enforcement had searched there for an entire month. I think they had the park closed for 30 days. Me neither. Yeah, that park was closed for 30 days, and then they opened it, and then that was the day that the parents went in there, and I think they stashed that dry bag and then said, "Oh, look what we found." I think the funniest thing, tell me what you think about this. I think the funniest thing is that I think they shoved stuff into that dry bag to make it look like it was Brian's, like, you know, his ID. No, not his ID, but photographs of him and Gabby, letters, stuff like that. The hat with the Moab coffee roasters or something. But I think that they accidentally put the burn after reading letter in there. I think that Roberta expected Brian to burn that letter after reading, and that they accidentally put it in there, and then that letter got into the hands of law enforcement. So that is wild. But I believe that that's how that letter came to get publicized. And as I like to say, for that we can thank them, you know. No such thing as the perfect crime. But yeah, then the whole thing with the jawbone and the tooth and the uncle who was in law enforcement, and the law enforcement pretending that they lost track of Brian Laundrie because, you know, they thought that Roberta was Brian. I mean, that whole thing was so bogus. And again, the family, the Laundries are millionaires. They are millionaires, just like JP in Micah Miller's case in South Carolina. He's also a millionaire. Like, he's in charge of most of the finances for a church that has assets of around $5 million. So, you know, money talks. And then when people have connections with law enforcement, you know, Roberta Laundrie worked for what was it? Some type of government in Long Island for 25 years. And then she had that skeezy lawyer, Bertolini, who was from Long Island, who sounded like a mobster lawyer, if I've ever heard a mobster lawyer. But yeah, what's always disturbed me with Gabby Petito's case, many, many aspects, but the one that I get really stuck on is, well, the whole thing with Crystal and Kylan getting shot unalived 2 days after, 2 days after that traffic stop, and Kylan had been working that morning outside at the fruit stand part of the Moonflower while Gabby was sitting at a table outside. And so Kylan and Gabby, I would imagine, interacted, and even if they didn't, they would have seen each other. It's a small town. And then when the 911 call was made, if there was a second 911 call, and I believe that there was, it either could have been Kylan who called, or it could be that Brian Laundrie thought she called and maybe it wasn't her. Because maybe she was gone by then. Like I think her shift started at 6 a.m. and went till 2, like an 8-hour shift. So, but then I also had heard stories that Kylan and Crystal were hanging out because that's what they would do since their camp was like 45 minutes away from town. They would stay in town all day until they went back home to sleep. But then we know that they went to Woody's Tavern the next night, the 13th. The two the females, the couple. Then there's also rumors that Brian and Gabby went to Woody's Tavern, and I'm not saying that they drank because I don't think that they did, but that they just went there to play pool. Woody's Tavern is a very famous tavern, and you know, you'd think that they would want to do some type of activities like that. And we've never heard like the chronology of the trip. Like I've always wondered, how long were Gabby and Brian in Moab for before that incident on the 12th, and then how long did they stay there after? Because what, by the 17th, I think Gabby had checked into the hotel in by the Salt Lake City airport, and then Brian flew back to Florida to clean out the storage unit. Yeah, right. Okay. And then he came back 6 days later. So it always seemed like he hightailed it after, I want to say he was gone from the 16th to the 23rd. But that he hightailed it after those two women were shot. And I've always thought that that whole Adam Pazinski, I think is his name, the guy that they said did it, who then happened to unalive himself. I've always thought that was weird AF. How about you, Sherry, if you're still here? But there was a couple other things about Gabby's case, that flying back to Florida for 6 days. But, you know, that footage that came out like a year after she passed away, I thought Brian did it. Yeah. Oh, with the girls too, with Kylan and Crystal. Yeah, I think that's not an uncommon belief, but you know, people want to say, oh, conspiracy theory. It's just bogus when people want to say that. It's like people just want to, you know, basically say, shut up. Nah, 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 nah. You know, like it's insulting. And, you know, if somebody is communicating with somebody else about a crime before they do it, then that's a conspiracy. They're conspiring. You know, they're co-conspirators. So, you know, and it could be that that's why he felt like he had to unalive Gabby, not only because she was dumping him, but because she knew about the double homicide if he did do that. So, excuse me. Let me get some water. So there's someone else here. Might have to turn it off. But I want to tell you what it is. There was a big chunk of pepper because I had scrambled eggs this morning with peppermill pepper on it. And I got a chunk of pepper that just, you know, fell out of a tooth or something. That's what I'm choking on, is a big chunk of black pepper. So hold on one sec. A peppercorn. I think I've recovered now. That was crazy. I could barely talk. So, let's see what else with with Gabby and her poor friend Rose, and Rose, who got so harassed on social media, and what an adorable little friendship they had. And yeah, you know that made Brian very jealous. And Rose was supposed to meet up with them. She was supposed to meet up with them on August 29th because that was her birthday, you guys. But, oh, I started to say about the video footage that wasn't public until like 12 months after the whole thing, that Whole Foods footage where I'm pretty sure that there was shoplifting going on. And I hate to say that because I'm not shaming anybody. I just think that there was shoplifting going on. I'm pretty sure, my opinion is 100% sure that there was shoplifting going on from what I've seen in that video footage. But a lot of the video footage that is circulating has that part removed, but nobody went through the cashier to purchase anything. And, you know, they had their, Gabby had like at least one, if not two or three canvas bags, you know, like the reusable shopping bags over her shoulder. And it just seemed like Brian was making her shoplift. It seemed like it, yeah. Yeah, well, I saw footage where it was like they were at she was at the cheese table, and I'm pretty sure that there was cheese going into her bag. But again, I'm not trying to shame her or throw shade at the family by any means. But it was just odd that it took 12 months for that to show up, is my point, I think. And what else? Did I have any other points I wanted to make? I'm starting to fade. Yeah, we're almost at an hour and a half, so I should wrap her up. Thanks so much for being here, Sherry. You're so kind, and I'm so excited for you to get those earrings. If you want to email me a picture of you wearing them, that would be quite lovely. Just if you want. And I do want to let you know that this was a big deal for me to wear shorts while doing yoga on YouTube. I might have to delete the whole video. I'm just kidding. I love saying that, like, oh, I'm gonna have to delete, but I pretty much don't delete videos. I just will make them like members only or private them if they're really, you know, something I don't want people to see. But you know, I'll just make them quasi-private by making them members only. If it's something that's just kind of embarrassing, like me in my shorts. So that's big. I mean, I've been getting in better shape with the 10 months or the 8 or 9 months of all the yoga training and doubling up on the 2 programs. Yes, I will try it. It was kind of fun, just you and me chatting. Yay, cool. And dang it, Nancy is here. Hey, Jeff. Hey, everyone. I just got here. Do you think Gabby's family think Brian's deceased? My opinion, and I do want to do my disclaimer since I'm putting a lot of opinions out there, is that everything I say is simply my opinion for the sake of having a conversation with you guys, learning something, being educational. All my videos are made for YouTube. It's an entertainment platform. I personally believe that her parents are trying to out the fact that Brian Laundrie is alive. I believe that that's part of their motivation with the lawsuit, is to expose that. So I could be inaccurate about that, and I don't want to pretend like I have all kinds of evidence to support that, but I don't think I'm alone in believing that that's part of the motivation with the lawsuit. You know, the lawsuit against the Moab PD, I don't know what's happened with that. I don't know what the end result with that $50 million lawsuit is. But I do feel like Micah Miller's family would have major $50 million types of lawsuits against the Myrtle Beach Police Department with everything that Micah went through and what she was reporting, and the lack of you know, the lack of action, the lack of arrest. You always make things so juicy, looking good, my dear. Oh, you're so sweet. Dang it, Nancy. And I love the name of your handle. So yeah, the thing about South Carolina and just the good old boys club and the big daddy thing, like, you know, whoever has the most money. I mean, obviously the Murdochs, and you know, it kind of smacks of the Murdochs. I think that that lawyer, JP Ultra's lawyer, that has all that property by that Lumbar River State Park. Um, I think that the investigation that the feds are actively involved in against JP and the attorney, I think that there's just there's too much connection with the attorney, with law enforcement, with the medical examiner, and that all of that, they thought that they could control that whole situation. But my thing is, like, if they staged it, why are they so stupid to have put her stuff, the bullet casings, the live round, her fanny pack, all of that, and then her remains 40 meters apart from each other in still water? Like, either put them right next to each other or put them in not still water. Like, that's, you know, it's like I'm glad when they make huge mistakes like that, but it's just mind boggling too. It's like, what in the world? And then that whole thing with the $500 in Micah's fanny pack. I believe that probably JP's lawyer lured her there, and she bought the weapon on the way to make sure that she could stay safe. And definitely in the video footage of her purchasing the weapon, her eyes are so puffy. It definitely looks like she's been crying. Although with the artificial intelligence, if it's not her on the 911 call, and if that's artificial intelligence that the lawyer manipulated or created, couldn't they do the same thing for video? I don't know. I don't know. Because yeah, it's just a little too convenient. Just all of it. It's too airtight. Like, that makes it suspicious. Yeah, it's just nuts. It's a sad, sad case. However you look at it, and whatever the actuality of what happened, but these people, you know, Gabby and Micah and Kylie Rodney, them being having their lives stolen from them is just so freaking awful. And then for there not to be justice is just, it's unacceptable. It's totally unacceptable. So I'm going to keep talking about cases like theirs. And yeah, I am, you know, fully supportive of all victims getting justice, like with the Daybells and the other case that you mentioned that you're keeping up with. I know a lot of people are keeping up with the Sebastian Rogers. I haven't been. You guys know I have that thing with child abuse that it's just so hard. Like Maddie Soto also. I just don't like to focus on those cases. It really, it just makes me retch. I know a lot of people have issues with focusing on abuse of children. Sometimes I get caught up in cases that involve children. I mean, Kylie is a child, or was a child, and you know, the Watts case. I tried really hard not to pay attention to the Watts case for years, and then it was when they did the like the Netflix Nightmare Next Door, I think, was when I got caught up in it. And then Watts the Obsession, she got me all caught up in it, and you know, I thank her for that. Anyway, I'm going to sign off. Peace out. Thanks again for watching. Thank you for your support. And I'm so happy that the yoga is working for any one of us. Good night, Jazz. Love you. Oh, Sherry, love back to you. So yeah, I'm excited for you to get that package. Sending you light and love. Make sure you rest well, drink your water, eat your protein, your veggies, and just relax. It's so important. So tomorrow's Memorial Day, so remembering those you love that have crossed over, and hopefully I'll see you guys tomorrow. If not, then Tuesday. Have a good one.